Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to take the time to break down every class and every spec that you are going to be seeing in Anniversary, and there are a lot of choices that people have, but there are a few choices that are much better than the others, and I will definitely go over them if you're trying to decide to play. SOD has just happened, and SOD, the best thing that SOD gave us was class viability. They turned every trash meme spec that never was going to be anything into a playable spec, and a lot of people seem to forget that, so I wanted to break it down and give you guys my tier list for what you should play. This is strictly from a PvE perspective and numerical data, as well as a few things are situational and change, but all in all, just giving you my factual opinion. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to switch it over here to start making this tier list. So as you can see, some of the classes deserve specs to be broken down because some specs are really good and other specs are absolutely terrible. And so that is what you see here with the class icons. I am blocking Shaman, but we're going to do Shaman first so you guys can see that. So I have Shaman at A tier for healing. Priests just have more output, but Shamans are really good on the Horde. And it could make the argument for S tier healer just because it is that unique hero class that brings totems and a lot of stuff to people, but I think it's still A tier. It just gets outperformed by a priest. Next we have Elisham. That is absolutely garbage. The only purpose it has is PvP, so it goes to C tier. Enhancement Shaman also does terrible DPS, however it does bring enhanced totems and as well as that Nightfall support role. So usually you give them their hand to rag because they're PvP players that enjoy, but in order to do it they have to raid with the boys and get their be a Nightfall person and just put Nightfall up on the boss and get their PvP gear. So that does it for our Shaman class rankings. That is what I have because they do have good use. Warlock definitely goes in A tier. It is the other option for range DPS. Mages outperform them in every way, but Warlocks bring Curse of Wreck and Curse of Elements, which are huge raid debuffs, and they need to be put in there. So they're like alternate that bring utility. If you're a Warlock, you'll definitely be able to find a guild and find a spot, but Mages are going to get prio over you if you're in any serious raiding guild. Next, Hunter is really interesting because they're not that good as far as dump numbers, but every guild needs one to be their polar, to be that guy that goes and gets things, just super knowledgeable, super good utility. I was debating whether to put Hunter between A and B, and I'm kind of on the fence there, but I think it does fall into B tier because you only really truly want one per guild, and it has that slot to give buff people. You can have True Shot Aura as well, so if you're making more warrior heavy groups, you can consider that, especially if you're on the Alliance and don't have those Shamans. So just something to consider with that. Next we have Shadow Priest. Shadow Priest has terrible mana issues and is really only there to put the shadow debuff on a raid. You will probably only take one Shadow Priest per raid group if you are a serious guild and trying to parse and be competitive. That's really all they put. Luckily the debuff slots are uncapped, so Shadow Priest does get that advantage where they can put up all their dots and not really worry about bumping off other more important buffs. But Shadow Priest I have a B just because it has immense mana issues. Then we have Healing Priest. It is definitely S tier. It is the best class. If you are a Horde, you have the choice of being Undead and Troll. If you're a PvE player, you go Troll. There's no reason to ever be that. Even as a Shadow Priest in raid, you should not be Undead. Undead is only good for PvP. Just straight up, if you're not PvPing, then you should never be Undead. It is just not better than Troll Priest and Berserking with what it can give you. Then we also have our next class. As Alliance, you want to be Dwarf Priest. There's just no exception or no choice. Dwarf Priest is the priest to go for Alliance. All the other ones are just not as good. Fear Ward is insane, especially on Alliance where you don't have Tremor Totem like you do with Shamans. Next we have Resto Druid. So Resto Druid actually does provide a lot of healing and it provides decurses so your mages do not have to do it. What is super important to note about Resto Druid and why it is an A tier is we'll find out for sure, because they did say you can have no buffs and no debuffs. So if Resto Druids actually get the ability to overlap their HOTS and you don't have to synchronize it, because generally you'll just overwrite the HOT and it won't add multiple. So if you have 2 Resto Druids casting Rejuve on the same person, it'll only take the best one, meaning the one with the most healing power and highest duration. So it can be really, really tricky, but they do have a nice slot, so you definitely want at least one in your group, as well as their innervates are super, super nice. Then all the other druids are B tier. Feral as Cat, Boomkin, even bear tanking, it is just not that good in Classic. There are a few fights where the bear is super, super nice, but you'd want him to be a cat DPS just for that leader of the pack buff. Pretty much druids are just there to help other people parse, similar to Shadow Priest. They don't do good damage, and even if you are the top tier sweaty feral cat druid, getting your pummeler, putting every world buff, doing all that, power shifting, and just going absolutely crazy with it, you're still never going to beat a rogue or warrior. So it's just like the amount of effort and insane gameplay you have to do just isn't good enough. Then we have our 3 Giga Chad classes of Classic WoW. We have Warrior, they are S tier, while Warriors do not necessarily are at the very top of the meters in MC and BWL. Once ZG comes out, AQ and Nax, it is just GG, well played. Warriors are the #1 DPS, and Warriors are BIS because of speedrunning and the meta that has taken over with that. They do not have to stop for mana. They can just straight up go ham, go crazy, keep blasting, and they will be the top of the meter by the end of the expansion. Rogues are the inverse of that. So rogues start off really good in MC and BWL and can actually be higher than warriors early on, but they fall off a little bit, but they are still great choice for that. So it's pretty much, if you don't want to be a warrior, you can be a rogue, and I've seen rogues actually outpump warriors quite often. It really just comes down to gear and player skill to decide it until you're at the very end of the game. A very good rogue can be as good as a warrior. Then we have Mage, no bias here at all. Mage is the best range DPS class, and Warlocks are not. A lot of people always try to make the thing, oh, Warlocks could be great, Warlocks are going to do it, Warlocks are going to get there, but it's just not true. Mage is the best king of ranged. If you want to be a ranged DPS caster, you should be a mage. Mages also bring a ton of utility. It really just depends on your group and what you're going for. If it's a speedrun, they're just going to stack warriors and rogues because mages have mana. You'll probably have like 1 to 3 mages, if that. Same with warlocks. Mages do bring arcane intellect, which is nice for the healers, but all in all, it really just depends on the type of guild you're going for. If it's a speedrun guild, they'll never be in that slot. Then we have Healing Paladin. Healing Paladin is at A tier. It is a Giga Chad. It is super nice. It brings all the buffs. Paladins, you need 3 Paladins per raid, so you can have Kings, Wisdom, and Might on your group. But other than that, you don't need a Paladin, because we're going to put Prot and Ret and any other type of Paladin at C tier. It is just terrible. They don't do anything. Like, they're just that bad. They do no damage. They cannot tank. They do not have the taunts. It really sucks. Sod did a phenomenal job of making those 2 classes great. Same with Shamans. Like, Paladins and Shamans got their hero class role that they deserved. But here in Classic Anniversary, they're going to be relegated to healing, and that is pretty much it. It is just the unfortunate truth in reality of where the classes fall. But these are my tier lists. The only things that I would say are sort of debatable is whether Hunter is A or B tier. They have a lot of unique things that they could do, but their damage just is never that, like, great. So anyway, that is the breakdown. If you have any questions, anything you'd like to add, if you think I'm wrong, definitely drop it down below and tell me why. But I really don't think I am. And if you guys were wondering on this mega maintenance, the server list is showing, so that's usually a good sign that the servers are about to come up. Obviously, Anniversary doesn't come out till Thursday, but if you're playing SOD or Classic Era still, that is looking pretty good for the servers coming up. Seeing the server list instead of just disconnecting is a sign it's coming up within a half hour or so. So anyway, that is it for this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes, you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.